6 dinosaur action figures. Some are new, some are old, some are different brands. Either way, sounds like a good time. Let's open them up, check them out, and of course do some toy photography. So it's 2026, and I think we may all be under the impression that dinosaurs are extinct. But I'll have you know that in our hearts and in our souls, dinosaurs are very much living and alive and well. At least in the toys and pop culture. Last year was like the year of dinosaurs for me. I really started getting into the dinosaur figures and taking pictures of them and making videos only because people had told me to do it. They gave me all these recommendations and now I'm totally in. So thank you to everyone who recommended dinosaurs for me. And I've been kind of stockpiling some figures lately, and I just haven't gotten around to making videos on them. And now I've got so many of them to the point where we can officially call this video a mega review of dinosaurs. So this will be my first dinosaur mega review. And what's a mega review? I just have more figures in it. It's just a lot in one video, and I think it's pretty exciting. So I've got 3 Hammond collections here, 1, 2, 3, which is the Ornitholestes and the Mussaurus and the Sinoceratops. These are all the ones currently available in Target that you can find. But I've also got a couple old ones here, like the Atrociraptor Ghost. Did I say that right? And then we've got obviously a Triceratops as well. And I actually found these two at Universal Studios in the summer. And I've had these guys for a while and I just haven't had the time to make a video, and now I can do a big one. And I've also got one more. I've got this right here, which actually isn't even from Mattel, Jurassic, Hammond Collection, any of it. This is a Creative Beast studio figure called the Smilodon. So I went to Legions Con last year and I picked up a couple different figures from the Beasts of the Mesozoic, Creative Beast Studio, whatever you want to call it, from their booth, and it was very exciting. So I did the Dilophosaurus video already, and to be honest, I didn't really love that figure very much, and it kind of put a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. So hopefully this one's a lot better. I have a feeling it's gonna be, but I mean, this is literally, and I'm sure this is not the right word, a black saber-toothed tiger. And so there's something very special about a black cat, if you will, because I have a black cat. He's right there, actually. See him? Can you see him over there? Hey, Venom. He's not really in frame. There's also another tuxedo cat back there as well, way in the background. Anyway, having a black cat figure is kind of exciting to me, and he's still prehistoric, right? So he counts in the whole mega review thing. I'm excited to open up every single one of these, give a little review of each one and see which one's the best, and then of course do some toy photography in the end. I think this is gonna be fun. Finally, dinosaur mega review. So if you're interested in picking up any of these these figures, I'll have them all linked in the video description below. All of the Hammond collections you can find at Target, except for these two might be a little hard at Target, but I'll have them linked in the description, and even this guy as well. And if you're interested, I have a whole entire dinosaur playlist of videos where, you know, we got the Spinosaurus, we've got so many things, we've got Nanmu Studio, everything. So I just had a great time with the new Nanmu Studio T-Rex, and I'm really excited about that one. And of course, I'm gonna be having so much dinosaur stuff coming in the future of 2026 and so forth. So if you're not subscribed, that would be really, really fantastic, and I would appreciate that so much, and I don't think you'd regret it. I don't think you'd regret it. Anyway, let's open these guys up. What do we have coming up next for the Hammond Collection? I don't think we have anything on the radar right now, right? I don't think there's anything revealed coming up as far as I know. I've seen some images of a Hammond Collection Indominus Rex, but I don't know if that's real or not. I've just been seeing it being thrown around. No official sites I'm seeing reporting it or anything, but that would be very exciting. Honestly, what I think Hammond Collection should do a new T-Rex. I feel like the old T-Rex is a little old, right? I don't know. I think we should get a new one, or maybe that's just because I missed it and I want it. I don't know. What do you think? What's coming up? Or is there news that I've missed? I'd love to know. So it ain't no dino video without a little bit of time for the tales. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode, another installment of Tail Time with the Dinos. We gotta put some tails on these boys and girls, right? What do you say we stick them on there? I think these are gonna be pretty easy. Usually the Hammonds in this kind are pretty good. All of these boys and girls need tails, except for this little kitty back here. He is good to go. So let's start with the Orthodontosaurus, or whatever this guy is. Here we go. That was a nice snap. That sounded good. All right, we're off to a wonderful start. This guy's got a cool striped tail, so let's give that a shot too. Here we go. Ooh, that was nice and easy, but it's still a great snap. I think this might be... I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but this might be the best episode of the Tales ever. Oh, hang on. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Oh. All right. This guy's gonna be nice. He's got a real big one. A real big one, everybody. Oh, okay. Well, that was too easy. And then the Triceratops. Oh, his went in, but it was a very not satisfying pop. There was no pop at all, but he's in. So all those tails, they're doing great. Thank you so much, everyone, for such a wonderful, lively episode of Dinosaur Time with Tails, Tailed. Well, here they all are, standing up, looking pretty good. I think these guys are all pretty cool, not gonna lie. I'm liking these guys very much, but I feel like I personally have a problem that is going to stop me from liking a lot of these guys more than most people, and this might be an annoying thing about me that, I don't know, I'm curious to what you think, but I'm not as much as a fan of dinosaurs as I am a fan of dinosaur movies. Like, as far as the, just learning about real life living dinosaurs, that's really a cool thing. It is, but I'm not that into it. I keep having to Google how to pronounce the dang it. I'm looking at the box. Ornitholestes. See, like that, pronouncing the names, I don't have a whole lot of interest in. They're just weird to me. But I like dinosaur movies. I like seeing the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. I like seeing the Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3, because I've seen those in movies before, and that excites me. And so that's a me problem for sure. You know, a lot of these dinosaurs are not the iconic ones I've seen in the movies, and that's something that doesn't get me very excited. Like this guy right here, I recognize him from the movies, and that's something that excites me about him. And her, right? Or her? I don't remember. But that's something that's cool to me. These guys, I don't remember so much. They're cool looking dinos, but I don't recognize them so much. I'm curious if that's a common thing, if I'm the only one, or are you watching this and saying like, dude, they're awesome dinosaurs, you should love them for that. But I don't know, that's just kind of how I am. So I'm gonna get started one at a time and check out these dinos. Okay, well, we're starting out strong with the Ornitholestes. I think I am saying that right, but I also do want to say too that everything I'm saying and my opinions and all, it's all coming from a very objective person that doesn't know much about dinosaurs at all, and to be honest doesn't remember a lot from the movies either, but I do admire and like dinosaur action figures, and so that's kind of where I'm coming from. So when I get stuff wrong and say something stupid, please just roast me a little bit in the chat, but just do it in a nice way, please. Just I do like this guy. I think he's kind of cool. He's very Velociraptor-like, which I think is probably why I'm thinking he's still pretty cool. He's got some like feathery looks to him. I like the texture on his back. It does kind of feel like feathers, and I'm sure that's probably what it is. And I do like that about him. He's certainly less threatening than a Velociraptor, at least in my opinion. So that's probably something that's making me not like him as much specifically versus a Velociraptor. And you know, his tail, and I think all of these guys have a bendy wire tail, so that's kind of nice. Of course, there's lots of articulation. You know, you can go all the way forward with the neck like that. You can go down that far, so there's that as well. And he's got movement all the way here, so we can do the whole, what's the meme? Absolute cinema. You know, these guys are like 15 bucks or so, I think. I'll have it on the screen. But I definitely think with these guys, you're getting your money's worth. For sure, I really do think you are. And I think the Hammond Collection is awesome for that. You know, I think you're gonna be able to get some poses with him as well. The articulation always gives you some opportunity for poses. So I like him. But just from, you know, perspective that I'm coming from, I don't think he's all that exciting. I think he's cool. He's a cool action figure. He really is, and you can do a lot with him. But as far as just this dinosaur in general, there's not a whole lot that's very exciting to me about him specifically. But I think it's a cool figure. So next is the Mussaurus, and he's pretty cool too. I kind of am feeling the same way about him as I am with the other guy. I do like his blue and gray colors very much. I think that's definitely something that's awesome. That's probably the coolest part about him in my opinion. What's interesting about him is he can kind of be both on all fours, but also on two. So he's also kind of got that like velociraptor kind of build to me. But he's cool because he can go on all fours. Like he can go down and be quadrupedal all at the same time. Like, whoa. Well, not like that. You know, he can go down like that. He kind of looks like a kitty now. And I think that's cool about him. That's a little bit different because, you know, there's plenty of dinosaurs that walk on all fours, but he's kind of got a mix of both. That's very unique, at least from, you know, for me. I like that very, very much. I think he's got this really funny looking snouty nose that goes downwards. It kind of makes him look like one of those, he just looks like a villain because of that old man droopy nose he's got going on. But hey, that's him and we love him for it. I think he's kind of cool. And, you know, you kind of have more posing options to get for 4 legs, 2 legs, whatever you're gonna do. And I do like that about him. But I think I like the orthodontist whatever this dude's name is, a little bit more. He's a little bit less threatening, but still a cool guy though. Also, one thing about both of these guys is they both come with interchangeable hands. So these two right here are very much ones to use, I think, when you're not going on all fours. So like I should probably be using these hands for this pose because these don't have like a flat kind of look to them. And I think that's cool. I think that's awesome. That further just helps with what I was just talking about, doing both on 2 legs or on 4 legs. And then this guy comes with just a little bit more, you know, squeezy looking hands. Nothing crazy, but these are a little more open and these are a little bit more fisty, grabby looking. So I don't think these are as important as those ones are, but hey, I'm glad these are coming with accessories. I think that's actually pretty awesome. So next is the Sinoceratops, which even for somebody like me that I just said I prefer ones I've seen in movies, he's pretty undeniably cool looking. You know, like obviously he looks like a Triceratops, that's just a dinosaur I'm always gonna remember from school or from the movies. And he has that recognizable feeling because he looks kind of like a Triceratops, but he's got this really cool looking shield on his head, you know? It looks cool. He looks like Bastiodon, you know, the Pokemon. And I think that's pretty freaking cool. And so he has that recognizable feeling, but a different kind of look to it. And I like that very much. I think he's pretty cool. And I'm always gonna be the one that prefers the big predators. You know, I like the T-Rex and the Spino, and I really love the Giganotosaurus. You know, I think those guys are cool. I'm not always gonna have quite the same love for a cute little herbivore like he is, but I do still like him. I like the green. I think he's cool. And he actually comes with some pretty interesting accessories. So if you look at his his horn here, it's damaged, but you can take it off. That was easy. And you can just leave it like that. So he's got a nice little nostril. No, he has another horn you can switch it with. So now he's got a nice fresh new horn. So he can ram stuff with it. So that's cool. And so if you look at his mouth right now, he looks like he's kind of exhausted. You know, he's like panting. Look at him, he's like, he's so tired. He's got his tongue sticking out. But you know, if you don't want to be tired, you can rip his jaw off. Actually, that looks kind of cool like that, not gonna lie. You can take that off and you can put this jaw on, which I think his tongue, yeah, so now his mouth is not open. So it's just like a nice little even mouth jaw thing. So he doesn't have an articulated mouth, but he does have interchangeable mouth. So that's cool. If you want to have a pose of him eating some plants, you can do that. Or if you just want him to be chilling, you can do that. And I think it's cool. He's got like okay articulation too. You got a surprisingly decent amount of movement in the head there. You know, like that's pretty good. I don't think you're gonna have anything super crazy with the arms and legs. I mean, you can have him lay down, kinda. Actually, that's kind of cute. There you go. So you can get him into like some walking poses. You know, he's got a joint here in the thigh, knee, and the ankle on both of these. Probably get him into some ramming looking poses. You know, there's plenty of stuff to be done here, and I think he's cool. He was the one that I think I picked up first when I saw these dinos. He was the one I was most interested in because he was bigger and kind of cool. So he's got a little bit more of a movement in the tail, actually. It's not a wire. He's got a fluffy, squeezy one, and you can get a little bit more movement out of that. That's the Sinoceratops, and I like his name, Sinoceratops. So next is our cute little baby Triceratops. And I also think I should probably mention too, yeah, all of these Hammond Collection figures, they're all from the movies. They all have been in the movies. But when I say I prefer the ones in the movies, I think I mean like the main characters. You know what I mean? Like the ones that are really getting the spotlight. They're the villains. They're the ones they're running away from. Those are the ones I think I probably mean by saying that. But anyway, I do like this guy very much. And it makes me wish, man, I wish I had the big Triceratops. You know, I wish I had him. I guess maybe the Triceratops and the Sinoceratops can be friends. I think he's a cute little guy, and ooh, look at all that articulation in the neck there. I think his mouth opens. Does it open? Yeah, there's a little joint there. Let me use my little tool here. There we go. So that opens up. You can get him into some poses here. I feel like there's not quite as much room for creativeness with this guy. I think he's just kind of cute. You can pose him with walk-in, maybe do like, can you get him to stand up like that? Yeah, you could definitely do it. You could definitely do it. I think he's cute, and I think that's his main thing. I think his recognizability is what's making me like him, but other than that, I feel like he's not nearly as versatile. You can't do nearly as much with him. He's still pretty cute. So that's really all I'm thinking with this guy. So next we've got the Atrociraptor Ghost, which this guy might be my favorite of the Hammonds that I've got here. And I think it's for the same boring reason I've been talking about. I just really like how this is just a velociraptor from the movie, you know, and these guys are cool. And they're such iconic villains, and they're terrifying, and they're very threatening. And I really do like the white design on him. His red eyes are great, and he's got a very mean looking, great face. And like his mouth closes perfectly too. When you close his mouth, there's no overbite or anything like the other raptor has that I've got. He's great. He's easy to hold and move. His tail moves so much. He's very easy to stand. He's just a good looking figure, and it's really easy for me to say that he's my favorite. That's just me, I suppose, and I'm curious. Maybe I'm not the only one. I don't know. The white is very menacing. Good looking figure. And so articulation, you've got a lot of articulation actually. You can really get him going. I think you're gonna get like lots of different cool looking poses, you know, running poses, stuff like that. And you know, these guys are cheap. He doesn't actually have any movement in his hands, however, or any accessories. So the new ones do, which is definitely a step up. But I don't know, does that make me pretty basic for thinking he's the coolest one so far? Maybe it does. Maybe it does. I don't know. What do you think? And last but not least, we've got the Smilodon, which is, you know, totally different brand, totally different everything. This is the saber-toothed tiger. I know that's probably not the right term, but that's what they taught me in school. And that's cool. And I brought in an expert on the field to help me out here. Venom, what do you think? So, funny thing here, it's actually quite ironic. So, this saber-toothed tiger, this Smilodon, has two very big teeth in the front, you know, those two saber teeth. And then this guy back here, he is missing most of his teeth except for one. See that? He's got the one, but nothing else. He's almost the opposite of this guy. So I don't know, maybe Venom will feel threatened. Anyway, this is a really well done action figure. It feels really, really good. You know, the paint is pretty simple, but it's simple yet well done. It's like, it's a, you know, obviously a dark color. It's black and got some grays and whites in there, but there's even little bits of like stripes going on the legs there. And it really does look cool. He looks quite menacing, but also cute at the same time. You got lots of articulation. You can move his mouth like that, you know. Creative Beast Studios definitely goes for a cool combination of accuracy, realism, and also just a cool action figure with articulation. You know, it's really cool. I really do appreciate them very, very much. And I need to try maybe some of their bigger ones. And you've got all kinds of cool articulation in the hands or the paws and stuff. And I think that's That's actually really neat. Tons of articulation in the torso, and then the legs, and then the knees, and I think you're gonna get a lot of cool, like, legit cat poses. Like, I don't think you're gonna be able to get, you know, the big stretch pose. You do it all the time, Venom. This tail does go up. It's a cute little tail, though. I think this guy's awesome. Oh, there it is. See, you can see his tooth, hopefully, right there. A really freaking cool figure. And he's got some actually really cool accessories. All of his paws, the claws are already sticking out. But if you want to have the claws, see how Venom's back here? There you go, thank you, buddy. His paws are not out. So if you'd like to have his paws like that, you can have his claws retracted. All of the feet have that. And I think that's actually really cool. What a cool idea, have retractable claws, essentially. And then you've got this, which if you want to adjust how this part right here is looking, so it's not as sticking up, you want a much more different looking cat. That's kind of cool. That almost looks a little bit more like you, doesn't it, Venom? But then you've got this head too. So if you want to have him yawning, just like Venom was doing, you can do that. You can have yawning, or of course, you know, more angry. Ugh. All right, that was nice and easy. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Wow. That just happened on camera. Wow. Well, I broke it. Now it really is like you, Venom. This is weird. Okay, well, as I was trying to put this on, I mean, I don't think I even have to explain myself. It just happened. As I was trying to put it on, the tooth just snapped off when I was pushing down on it. That's, be careful with that when you buy this figure. I'm sorry that was probably very cringy to watch. They're very fragile. I would still say that's on me though. But there's something about this that's going to lead to a very fun opportunity. 1 second. So I've taken a little bit of super glue and I decided to only glue back on one of the teeth. It'll be more like you, Venom. Yeah, I mean, I could glue both of them on. So I would say, look at, I even cut like, I even cut my thumb a little bit on the tooth. Heat it up a little bit maybe, so then, so you don't have to exert as much pressure as I did, which caused me to break the teeth. This one's on me for sure. All right, so let's do a little bit of comparison here. We've got these two herbivore ceratopses over here. This is the Stegosaurus Hammond Collection, which I thought this was a really freaking cool figure, actually. I really like this guy. This one had been one of my favorite ones to photograph, but he is a lot bigger than these two guys are. So I'm assuming the main Triceratops Hammond Collection is probably around the size of the Stegosaurus, but it's cool seeing those guys together. I think all three of these guys really do work well together. So the other Creative Beast Studio figure I have, this is the Dilophosaurus. This is the one that I really wanted to like, but I ended up just having a lot of weird problems with it. But I definitely like this guy more, even though I broke him. He's still fine with this head though, so that's totally fine. And so this is how these two guys compare. And I thought it would also be good to just throw in, this is the Nanmu Studio T-Rex. So I don't know if these guys would really scale. I don't think so. No way. There's no way. So the T-Rex would probably be way, way freaking bigger than these guys. But I think Nanmu Studios they're just my favorite of the dinos. But then again, there's some really big Creative Beast Studio ones that I would love to check out. So maybe I've had a weird impression of them or something. I do still like this guy, however. I think he's really great. So we've got the three raptor looking guys over here. So I'm gonna put down the other two raptor looking guys I've got over here for some comparison. This is the Nanmu Studio Velociraptor. This thing is amazing, absolutely beautiful. And then this guy, of course, this is the orange Velociraptor from Jurassic Park 2. This is also a Hammond Collection. And of course, these guys will all scale together. The Nanmu one, however, will not scale. This is like 1/12 scale, so he's way too big, but he's awesome. This thing is amazing. This is definitely the superior raptor figure. And what's funny is these two guys right here actually are very different. They're not exactly the same figure. They're both raptors, but they're pretty different from one another. So that's kind of cool to know that just like, it's not just the same mold, but different paint or whatever. I think they actually work nicely. That's actually pretty cool. And then if you're curious too, this is the Nanmu T-Rex again, and that's how he scales with those guys. So these are all the boys and girls of the video, and right here we've got the boy, the big boy of the Hammond. We've got the Spinosaurus Hammond Collection, which, you know, is one of the biggest ones. It's probably the most popular Hammond Collection figure out there, rightfully so. It's just so awesome. The Spino's awesome, and this is how he scales with everybody. He scales pretty well. I mean, he scales perfectly with all the Hammonds, obviously, because he's a Hammond. They're all Hammonds except for this guy, except for the Smilodon, who's completely different brand, of course. Does he scale? I don't know. Actually, does the Smilodon scale with the Hammond? He kind of looks like he does. I don't really know. I don't know. I need an expert to tell me. Does he scale? Someone let me know. Does he scale with the rest of the Hammond collections? Because he kind of does look like it, doesn't he? I think he does. So I feel like the W or L segment of the video is gonna be pretty straightforward. I think it's gonna be pretty obvious. I really do enjoy all of these guys. They're all W's. They're all W's. I'm not gonna go and say that they're the huge W's. I think they're pretty easy W's. I'm not crazy in love with any of these guys. I really am not, but I do like them all quite a bit. I think they're all great figures, and they're all very reasonably priced as well. You know, the Hammond Collection are quality figures for really good prices. The Creative Beast Studios guy over here, he's not as easily priced. You know, he's a bit more expensive, and he comes with more stuff. There's more going on with him. There's more detail, all of that, so that makes more sense. But I do think these guys are all W's. What do you think? Are these guys W's, or do you love these guys? Some of these are new, some of them are old. I'd love to know what you think of any of these guys. What are your thoughts? Let me know what you think. Well, it's time to do some toy photography with this, with any of these guys. I think I'm gonna do something pretty fun here. I think I'm gonna do something more on the funny side. With these guys, I've always been doing these really fun, serious style Jurassic photos. I think I've got a funny idea that I'd like to do. So let's go, let's take these guys out and take a shot. All right, well, like I said, I've got a really silly, goofy photo for my dinos today. And you know what? I don't know how the heck I didn't think of this or do something like this before. It seems so obvious. So look what we've got here. We've got dino nuggets. Everyone's favorite dino nugs, at least here in the US. Every kid grows up eating dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets. So these are the Target brand nuggets. And I'm actually kind of annoyed and frustrated by these. On the package of the nuggets, there are two shapes of dinosaurs on them, and neither of those two shapes are in the bag at all. There's like a Triceratops and another dinosaur looking one, and those are not in there. All they have are Stegosaurus and T-Rex, which are great, but I would have loved a little bit more variety for my photo. But whatever, it's like the most silly and ridiculous thing to be frustrated about. But it's okay, it's gonna be all right. So this is what I've got going on. We've got some dinosaurs enjoying some nuggets here. And so this one here, the raptor, he's gonna be jumping up to eat a dino nugget because I'm gonna be doing this, and he's gonna be crunching up to eat this guy. And it's a nicely shaped one too, so I think that was good. Gonna have him jumping up to eat that, and that's gonna be cool. I'm also gonna take probably a little bit of crumbs and sprinkle them over just to get a little bit more dynamic stuff going on. The baby Triceratops is standing on top of the ketchup. It's actually jalapeno ketchup, which is really good, by the way, if you're interested. Very good, highly recommend. So he's standing on it, and I'm gonna actually take him off and push it down and have some ketchup squirting out of it. And I might make a mess by doing that, but I think that's gonna be pretty awesome. I think that's gonna look really cool in the photo. And then I'm gonna combine both of those things in Photoshop to make a pretty cool, fun dinosaur nugget thing, I guess. And I did add, since he's not in the video, I did add him in there. Oh, actually, I forgot. I'm gonna put this guy underneath here where the stand is. So I'm gonna take another shot of him there. So then that space will be filled up nicely by the other dino, and it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be pretty funny. I'm excited for this one, even though I hate shooting with food because I just want to eat it. So here are my settings for the photo. I've got 6400 for my shutter speed. It's a little bit quick. I'm gonna want some of that quickness for some of the moving particles like the crumbs and the ketchup, stuff like that. And my aperture's at 3.2. It's a little bit higher than usual. I like to usually keep it at like 1.8 or whatever, but I'm opening up more just to get a little bit more in focus. Just, you know, because some of the dinosaurs are just going to be straight up out of focus, and that's okay. And my ISO is at 400. I also have it on manual focus right now, so then I don't have to constantly refocus every time I take a shot, because I want to make sure I, you know, get some crumbs, move the stand, and all that other stuff out of the way, and that's kind of going to help things quite a bit. Plus, there's a little bit of sticky tack underneath the ketchup there, just to keep it at a little bit of an upward angle. So yeah, there's that. Okay, I'm gonna take a bunch of shots with these cute little dinos down here and put them all together. Photoshop. I'll see you in the post-photo breakdown. Hopefully it comes out good in the end. I'll see you there. Alright, let's do a little bit of Dino Nugget post-photo breakdown. What do you say? This is the final shot, and it's very fun, and I actually really do like it quite a bit. There's just one thing about it that's actually really bugging me, and it's funny, you have all of these things you're staying really focused on, like the ketchup and the crumbs, but I didn't think about the glare back here. There's a great big glare. So my refrigerator's right behind here, and it's actually a pretty great, just easy blank background most of the time. But you know, if I angle my lights the right way, it glares right on the fridge like that, and so it kind of added that little glare there, and it was even worse too in the original. And this is like the side of the door, and it gets that glare too, and I was able to remove that, but I just wasn't able to get rid of this because there's just so much detail and things happening in that little area there. So I had to leave the glare, and maybe it's just a big eyesore to me because I know it's there, and maybe it's not to you, hopefully, or anyone else who looks at this. Maybe it's just more to me, but I guess you know, just this is one of those things that you know, for next time to not do. You know, it's always a learning experience. But besides the glare, I'm done talking about the glare. I think everything did come out pretty good. So here's the ketchup squirt. For some reason I wasn't expecting it to be just a perfect little but I think it looks kind of good. And that was a little bit more difficult to do than I thought, because you know, when I pushed down on the ketchup, it kind of like crumped up the whole plate, and it shifted everything on the plate. So if you look on this one, you know, it's a lot more flat, and then here everything's moved around. So that actually did change things quite a bit. And then there was another one. This is the shot, by the way, you know, of the squirt going way over there like that. But I thought this one was a little better. I thought this one was a little bit more. Plus, this one was way more shifted because I was pushing even harder. But it all worked out, I think. And the crumbs, I think, were a pretty important piece. So I'm glad I added the crumbs in there. The nuggets and adding this guy down there worked out, even though the tail is a little close to his face. It all worked out pretty good. I think it was pretty fun. I'd love to know what you think, though. I don't usually do really goofy kinds of dino photos like this. They're usually more serious ones outside or something, but decided to switch it up a little bit. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know. And let's just run the end of the video. So it definitely is a lot of fun opening up a bunch of dinosaur action figures. What the heck is coming up next? I want to know what's next in the Hammond line, and what's your favorite out of all these guys? I'd love to know what you're thinking.
But if you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. This photo, as always, is going to be posted up onto TikTok and Instagram and onto Facebook. And if you want to follow my work on any of those platforms, you can find me at Sirdork, or just follow the links in the description of the video. And as always, thank you for getting all the way to the end of this video. This is a long one. And I hope I see you in the next one.